Hi again, Risa here, back with another episode of Ask Risa. This is my weekly video series where I discuss some common wedding planning questions and give you some advice and guidance on planning your own wedding. This is episode 26. I've been doing these every week for 6 months since the beginning of the year. So there's a whole series of videos before this one. If you want to watch any of those, they are all on my YouTube channel, which is under my business name, Risa James Events, and they're all grouped together in a playlist so you can easily find them. Last week, I was talking about engagement photo sessions and whether you might want to do one. I'm a big fan. I definitely recommend them. And last week, I discussed why I recommend them and what you can do with the photos and things like that. So this week, I want to talk about actually getting ready for your engagement photo session because there's a few things you need to do before you have the shoot. First thing is to decide where you want to do this. What city, for starters. Last week I mentioned that you can travel to do your engagement photo shoot. If there's a cool city that you're planning to go to or want to go to, maybe you want to find a local photographer in that city and arrange an engagement photo shoot. Or, that you don't have to do that. You can do it in your hometown or somewhere that's near your hometown. For example, I live in Sacramento, so San Francisco is only a couple hours away. It's fairly close depending on traffic. So a lot of people in this area go to San Francisco or out to the coast, the Pacific coast, to do their engagement photos because it's not that far away. Or you can do them in the town where you live. That's perfectly fine too. Just depends on your preference. So then once you've narrowed it down to a city, you have to figure out where exactly the location is that you want to have the photos taken in. Maybe that's an iconic location within your city. I got engaged when I lived in Los Angeles, so my husband and I decided to have our engagement photos taken at Griffith Park Observatory because it felt very LA to us. And this was before La La Land, I just want to point out. Several years before La La Land. So we did Griffith Park and it was super cool. So maybe there's a place like that in your city that you're thinking of, or maybe there's a place that's just special to you and your fiance. Maybe it's the place where you actually got engaged, or maybe you want to do the photo shoot in your own home. Totally fine. A lot of people do that too. So just think about that and figure out where you want to go. Some photographers will allow you to do multiple locations, especially if they're not too far away from each other. You don't want to be traveling from one side of the city to the other, but if there's a couple spots that you really love and they're reasonably close, then your photographer might be okay with shooting in both. Something to discuss with your photographer. Once you figured out where you want to do the photos, then you have to think about the outfits that you're going to wear for the photos. So your photographer might have a style guide that they send you. If they don't send you a guide automatically, you can ask them if they have one. They probably don't have one or they would have sent it to you, but they might be able to find one and send it to you or at least give you some advice. They'll be able to tell you what colors are going to go well together and sort of what you should think about when planning your outfits. You can also just snap a quick cell phone photo of the outfit you're planning to wear either on you or just like laid out on the bed and send it to your photographer and get their input before the shoot. You and your fiance want to be complementary to each other as far as color and style, but you don't want to be super matchy-matchy and you also don't want to clash. So it's useful to have the photographer's input because they'll know what will look good in the finished photos. Don't forget to think about the terrain of where you're going to be when it comes to picking out your shoes. So if you're going to do the shoot on a beach, you probably don't want to wear stilettos because that's just not going to work. If you're going to be outside in any way, shape, or form, you might want to think about having a pair of shoes, flats or tennis shoes or something that you can wear to get into position, and then you can swap those out for maybe a dressy or a wedge heel or something like that. Again, if you're going to be outside, you just want to make sure you're not going to sink into the ground in whatever you're wearing on your feet. You're not going to trip. It's not going to be inappropriate for the terrain. So consider that. When it comes to the clothing that you're wearing, don't choose anything that's difficult to get into or out of because you will do an outfit change during the shoot. Generally one outfit change, so you've got two outfits. You arrive in one, do some photos, change clothes, and do the rest of the photos in the second outfit. Maybe you'll even have two outfit changes for a total of 3 outfits. So usually it's one dressy outfit and one more casual outfit. But when you do that outfit change, you're going to be changing probably in the backseat of your car, or best case scenario, a bathroom stall at a public restroom. So you're going to be in a really confined space. You need to make sure that whatever it is you're wearing is easy to get in and out of, because you're not going to have a lot of maneuverability unless you're doing your photo shoot in your own home. So that's another thing to think about when you're picking out your clothes. Don't forget to accessorize. Jewelry, hats, scarves, jackets, watches, whatever you usually wear or wear on special occasions, what you would wear when you get dressed up to go to somebody's wedding or something like that. Think about those things. You also might want to consider props. So when my husband and I did our photo shoot, we took a picnic blanket with us and some champagne flutes and some sparkling cider, because we weren't allowed to have real alcohol in the park. But we did a few photos of us toasting each other with our champagne flutes. So that was something fun we did. If you're going to use your engagement photos on your save the date cards, maybe you want a little sign that has the date of your wedding. It's fairly popular to have the couple each holding one side of the sign and kissing over the sign and using that for a save the date card. I feel like I say this every week, but you can find lots of ideas and inspiration on Instagram and Pinterest. Those are super helpful. So maybe you'll see some ideas there someone else has done that you want to give a try as well. So you'll just have to think about what props you want. As far as the timing for engagement photos goes, generally the photographers like to shoot them at either sunrise or sunset, because that's when they get the best light. It's called the golden hour. Sunrise is challenging because in the summer, the sunrise is super early. So I personally would never do a sunrise shoot because I'm not going to get up that early. That's not going to happen. Also, if you want to have your hair and makeup professionally done, you might have a hard time finding someone to do that at 4 a.m. So I think sunset is a better choice, but I see tons of sunrise photo sessions on Instagram. So somebody out there is doing it. It's just not me. So for hair and makeup, you don't have to get like super crazy with this. You can just schedule an appointment with your regular stylist at your regular salon, or, any salon if you don't have a regular one. Have your hair blown out or just have it washed and styled the day of your engagement photo shoot. Same thing with makeup. I always just recommend ladies go to a department store, schedule a makeup application at one of the makeup counters at a department store. And so usually they handle payment one of two ways. Either there's a fee for the makeup application you just pay, or there's a minimum purchase. So like if you're at the Chanel counter, they require you to buy this dollar amount worth of Chanel products in exchange for the makeup application. So whatever works for you, but schedule an appointment at a makeup counter at a department store for the day of your engagement photo shoot. Your photo shoot will almost certainly be on a weekday, because photographers who shoot engagement photos almost always are also wedding photographers. So that means they're going to be busy shooting weddings on the weekends, which means they're going to want to schedule your engagement shoot for a weekday. So given the timing of all this and the number of things you have to do to prepare, like hair and makeup and stuff like that, there's a good chance you'll have to take some time off of work, because this can easily take half a day to go get your hair done, get your makeup done, and then get your stuff together and actually get to the location. So just be aware of that. Guys should also think about their hair. They should have reasonably fresh, recent haircuts. And if they want to be clean shaven in the photos, they should shave reasonably closely to the photo shoot, especially if you're the kind of guy who always has a 5 o'clock shadow. You'll want to shave maybe a second time that day before you go to have the engagement photos done. Don't forget about your nails. This goes for ladies and the guys. Ladies, have a manicure, do a French manicure, do pop of color, something subtle, whatever you want. Guys, you can also have your cuticles cleaned up and have your nails buffed so they look nice, because, your hands will be in a lot of these pictures. You'll be holding hands and you'll be putting your hands on each other. Don't forget, this is my wedding band, but don't forget to have your engagement ring cleaned or clean it yourself just before your shoot, because your hand will be on display and your ring will be on display. So you want to make sure that it looks its best. And my last tip is just enjoy it. Enjoy the photo shoot, have fun, relax. It's gonna feel weird. Just go with the flow, trust your photographer. You might feel silly doing some of the poses they tell you, but trust me, they're professionals. They know what's gonna look good. You're probably gonna get tired of smiling, so don't be afraid to take a break. Just like, okay, I need to give my face a rest. I'm gonna close my eyes and I'm not gonna smile for a minute. And like, that's okay, because it's a lot of smiling, but it's good practice for your wedding day. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I'm happy to answer questions. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, because then other people can more easily find it. And I will be back next week to talk to you about some more wedding planning advice. Bye for now.